What's up, Riders? This is RexRath bringing you another episode of Real Talk. And in today's episode, I want to talk about something that's quite serious and something that chances are we've all gone through or probably go through at some point in our lives. And the topic today is about cancer. Now, you may or may not deal with cancer yourself in your own life, but chances are you'll probably know someone, either a family member or a friend, who's going through that, who has cancer. And honestly, it's a very difficult thing to deal with because it's something that comes out of the blue, you know? You never expect it. All of a sudden, you know, things are going great and fine in life, or, you know, maybe even just mediocre. It's just like, all right, things are, you know, life is life, and then all of a sudden someone says to you, I have cancer. And it's just like your mind just doesn't know what to do. It's just like you realize, wow, this person I know is not going to be around that much longer, chances are. I mean, again, there's all sorts of cancers out there, and some are definitely a lot more serious than others, but at the same time, regardless of the seriousness of it, you just hear the word cancer, and the first thing you think of is, oh my God, this is real, you know? This person I love has this thing inside him that's eating away at him or her, and it's a really tragic thing to hear. Now, in my own life, I've had several family members who actually have contracted cancer. I had one uncle who he had colon cancer, which that was thankfully taken care of, and my other uncle, he actually contracted a stomach cancer. However, by the time they discovered that he had cancer, it was already too late. There was nothing they could do. Unfortunately, all they could do from that point is just help him to live his life as comfortably as possible. Because, especially when you have a serious cancer that, you know, will chances are claim your life in mere months or maybe even a year. I mean, that's not a lot of time. I mean, that's quite a sobering thing to hear. Someone says you have cancer. I mean, I can only imagine just the shock of going through it personally, because my own father, he had prostate cancer, and thankfully that was taken care of, so hopefully that won't be affecting him all too badly in the rest of his life. But at the same time, you know, you hear that, you know, your father has cancer. It's tough, you know. You're just like, you don't know what to think. Your mind just can't comprehend the fact that someone you know and love isn't going to be in your life much longer. I mean, whether or not that actually becomes true or not, that's what you're thinking, you know. And it's that kind of thought that makes you want to say, you know what? You know what? I'll just say it like this. Instead of taking that and being angry and being upset that this is happening, I mean, yeah, I understand that, because why wouldn't you be angry and upset at the fact that someone you know and love isn't going to be around much longer? But what I'm saying is, instead of using that and becoming destructive about it, you know, take that time that you know you have with this person and say, you know what? You're not going to be around. Who knows how long you'll be around from this point, so I want to have as much time with you as possible. And really, that should be just a way for us all to live. Just the fact that something like cancer exists in life in general should tell us, you know what? You don't know what life is going to throw at you. You never know how long you're going to be here. Let me tell you honestly, you could get in a car tomorrow and you could drive on the highway, and then you get in a horrific accident, and, you know, that's the end of your days. I pray that doesn't happen, obviously, but you never know how much time you have left. There was that one guy with cancer that a comedian was talking about. This obviously was a bit more serious than his usual routine, but he was saying that he was with his friend who had cancer, and they were at a diner and they were talking, and then he starts crying because he's like, you know, his friend right across on the table, you know, he's dying, you know, and he just starts crying about it, and his friend's like, why are you crying? And he says, because you're dying. But his friend said something really interesting. He's like, man, we're all dying. I just have a pretty good idea of when. And I think that's a very sobering thing to hear, because you know what? Sometimes it's the most tragic things in life that can really give us like a kick in the ass and say, you know what? You can't live life this way. You can't just waste it around doing nothing. And, you know, I feel in my own life, with the things that I've been through and the, you know, things that I've seen and all that stuff. And I wondered to myself, why do I still spend time just doing nothing? You know, why am I not living my life the way I should? And because, hey, let's face it, we already know that we're all going to die at some point. There is going to come a point in which your life will end. You know, we're not immortal. So, you know, whether or not we know when we're going to die, you know, such as learning that you have cancer or that a family member has cancer, we shouldn't have to wait for something like that for us to say, no, I'm not going to wait for tomorrow to happen to do this thing or to, you know, show this person how much I love them or whatnot. I'm going to show them today. And I think that that's really the topic of this video, is don't wait, you know, for something like cancer to come into your life and shake it up and say, look what you have been doing. But, you know, sometimes, you know, as horrible as it is, it can also be kind of a blessing, because, you know, there are some people that I've heard that have never lived their life as much as they did until they had, like, cancer. And they said, you know what, enough of this, you know, just doing nothing crap. I'm actually going to do something with my life. Because honestly, a person, even though they have cancer, a person with cancer could live, you know, could live their life in a year or 2 years, whatever it is, you know, since finding they have cancer. They can live more than a person who's lived their entire life just doing nothing. I mean, when you think about it, does it really matter how long you live if you don't live? Because I see a lot of people who are just kind of going through the motions in life, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know, there are people out in the world who are suffering, who have these diseases, who have this and that, and, you know, and they have a set deadline in their life, and yet, you know, you're just squandering it away doing nothing. And this should be honestly a kick in the ass for us all to say, you know what, let us do today what needs to be done today, because you don't necessarily have tomorrow. Again, you know, you could be one car accident away, God forbid, but it's true. And just live your life. Whatever condition you're in, live your life. Because, again, you don't know how much time you have. I will close with one other story, though. It's a story about my own cousin. And this comes to show that even something as tragic as cancer, even though it can come into your life, amazing miracles can still happen. Getting back to the story about my cousin, unfortunately my own cousin, a couple years ago, or however long it's been, he was diagnosed with a rare kidney cancer. And the thing is, kidney cancer itself is rare, and the strain that, or whatever you call it, the kidney cancer that he had was also very rare, if I'm remembering things correctly. And keep in mind, he's also not that old. He's in his 30s, so, you know, like, I could only try to imagine what that would be like, you know, knowing that you in a young age have something as, you know, horrible as cancer. And long story short, you know, we were all praying about, you know, this situation that he was in, and so he underwent some treatments. And what the doctors were saying was that this treatment, if, you know, at the best case scenario, that it would help, that it would just stop the cancer's growth, and that's what they were hoping for. So they put him through the treatments, and then what ends up happening actually surprised even the doctors. What ends up happening is that the cancer that my cousin had actually shrunk, and shrunk significantly. And as far as I know now, it's, you know, he's still in a decent spot. You know, I don't think there's been any recent, you know, growth, which is a very good sign. And I was just thanking God, because, you know, this is one of those things that says to me, you know what, there has to be a God, because something as amazing as this is that even though, you know, something like cancer has happened, you know, it can really, you know, bring a family together, and it can really do amazing things regardless of the fact that it's tragic. In fact, I think it's in spite of that. Some of the greatest things that have ever happened in this world have come out of tragedy. It's an interesting and very philosophical thing to think about, you know, because honestly, if all was right with the world, would we really give a damn about other people? I mean, I really feel that we as people wouldn't care as much about each other if it wasn't for the fact that we needed each other. And that's really how we should live our lives, you know, with or without cancer, or in sickness, health, whatever. We all need each other. And that's how to live with this kind of thing. to be there for the people that you know and for the people that you love. Because, hey, someone out there needs you. And you also need someone out there as well. We all do. It's true. Anyway, that's going to close out for this video. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Help me raise up this riot. If you want to join the riot, hit subscribe. Stay up to date on all my videos. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. You can also join my Steam group if you have Steam. And as always, catch you all next time.